Hello, my sewing friends. Let's talk about fabric storage. My name is Jen, and clearly this is not my sewing room. This is my back lanai, and while I know that many of you are enjoying the fall weather with your coats and jackets and gloves and all of that, I'm not. I am loving living in a tropical place, and I will never shut up about how great it is to live in the summer all the time. So anyway, I'm glad you've joined me to stop by and talk about fabric storage. So welcome. This mess that is in front of me is not what I came here to talk about. It's just what's on the table, and it is all my buttons. That is a big chaotic mess, and so I will talk about that another time. What I want to talk about today is fabric storage. I have had a couple of questions about the way that I do it, and I want to say very first of all, the reason I organize anything is because I can't find things. I can't find a button that I want, so I'm organizing these. It's probably going to take the rest of my life, but same with fabric. I used to just stack them on a shelf, but I couldn't see what was there because the weight of the fabric would push it all down. So I knew I needed a better way, and I knew I didn't want it to be expensive, and I didn't want it to take forever to do. So this method I found works great. It did take a little while, but it wasn't expensive. And that's probably because of the way that I chose to do it that's a little bit different than the way other people choose to do it. I stack my fabric into the shelves that I have like books, which is great for me because I love books, but I can readily see what I have. Solves that organization problem right there. I can organize them by color, by type of fabric, whatever I want. I am working with shelves that are 12 by 12 cubbies. These are similar to the Kallax units that you can get at IKEA, but those units are bigger. They're more like 15 by 15 squares, and mine, my shelves all came from a big box store, and they are 36 by 36. There are 9 12-inch cubes in each one. I think originally they were made by Closet Made. What I use is foam core from Dollar Tree, which is $1 for a board, and then I also use the display boards, $1 at Dollar Tree, probably the same at Poundland. The difference in the way that I do it from the way that a lot of people do it is that I use the size of the display board to dictate to me the size that I will cut for each individual piece of cardboard on which I wrap the fabric. Same with the foam core. I do that instead of looking at the size of the shelves and thinking, well, I need to cut them this size. Yeah, I just divide up the piece of cardboard into the most amount that I can get, and then I work with that in terms of wrapping the fabric on and putting those into the shelves. So let me just show you how I do it. It's a simple process, and it's not brain surgery, it's not neuroscience, it's not rocket science. It's really simple. So here's how I do it. Here is the whole assortment of things you'll probably need. You don't have to use all of these, but you'll need something like them. Like a quilting ruler will work. A yardstick works great because it's nice and long. Or just a school ruler, a 12-inch ruler. Measuring tape will work for measuring where you need to cut, and any of these will work fine. The school ruler will work better for the shorter distances, but really any of them will work fine. Then I've got a whole slew of things to cut with here. I would recommend that you use either a craft knife or a box cutter like this, but not a pair of scissors because these work a lot better. Also, make sure that you're cutting on a protected surface like a mat. Don't cut straight onto your carpet or your table. You don't want to damage that. So here's my display board, which measures 39 inches across when I open it out like this. And then it measures 27 inches going the other direction, this way. So what I'm going to do is find the center of the board. So when I open it out, I've got 4 sections if I divide it evenly, and 3 sections going the other way that are also even if you divide up those measurements. And the first thing I'm going to do is find the center of the board. So I'm going to draw a line here, and I'm drawing in the center, but you can use one of those edges to draw your line and keep it perfectly straight if you'd rather. It won't throw your measurements off really all that much. So when I open this out now, if I include the folds, I have 4 sections going across. They're relatively even, which is so nice because the board did that for me pretty much. Now, because I have 27 inches going the other direction, I'm going to split that 3 ways, and I'm going to measure at 9 inches, and then I'm going to measure again at 18 inches because 3 times 9 equals 27. And now I'm just going to take my yardstick and connect all the dots. Mark out where I want to cut. You can use a quilting ruler if you want. You can use a yardstick, a ruler, it really doesn't matter. Any kind of straight edge will work. All you're going to do is connect your markings. Now here's where you break out your box cutter or your knife, your craft knife, or I wouldn't advise scissors. And your straight edge doesn't have to be a yardstick. It can be just another piece of cardboard if you like. And you slice that baby right in half. And then for your other 2 sections, you already have that fold there, which is essentially telling you where to cut. That you can use that for a guide. So then you just cut along that fold line and you're good. When it comes to cutting them the other direction, I usually stack one on top of the other and just cut them 2 at a time. It just saves time. So here I have all of my boards, and you can tell they're not exactly straight and exactly the same size, but I'm okay with that. So here's the foam core I use for the heavier fabrics that I have to wrap. It is 29 inches wide by 20 inches going the other direction. So since 29 inches is almost 30 inches and 30 divided by 3 is 10, I'm just going to mark these at roughly 10 inches and then again at 20 inches. So that'll give me 3 sort of equal sections. You know, I don't try and be really exact with these. And then going the other direction, this board measures 20 inches. So I'm just going to mark it again at 10 inches to divide it in half. And that's going to give me 6 boards. Then just like with the cardboard, you just line up your straight edge and slice that baby up. A quick word about these 2 different kinds of boards. I use the foam core for heavier weight fabrics like this knit because it's just more sturdy. It's going to be less likely to bend. It holds this fabric a lot better. The cardboard that I cut a lot more of these because it holds lighter weight fabrics perfectly. Most fabrics in my stash are lighter weight, so that's why this works so well. So here's some polyester crepe I got recently, and it is 45 inches wide by 2 yards long. So I'm just going to spread it out and fold it in half, matching the selvage edges together so that the wrong side is on the inside and the right side is on the outside. And the reason I do this is because I want to be able to see the print after it is wrapped onto the board. So once you've got it all flattened out, you kind of smooth out all the wrinkles, then you want to go ahead and fold 1/3 of it up from your selvage or folded edge. At this point, it's a good idea to use your cardboard to just kind of make sure that you've got it folded in such a way that it's going to cover the cardboard. So once you figure that out and you're happy with it, then just fold the bottom edge up and you're ready to wrap it on. When you go to wrap the fabric onto the board, try and leave yourself a small amount of fabric at the beginning and not a lot like what I did here, because what you will avoid is what I have going on here, which is that I have very little fabric to wrap around the edge. So generally, I don't rewrap this. I just take it and I fold it so that I have a fold going up about midway through the board. And then I just pin this fold down. Make sure that if you do this with pins that you don't go through the cardboard to the other side, because you don't want to stab yourself putting it away or getting it out, and you don't want for that sharp edge to catch on other fabrics that this is next to on the shelf. That is all there is to it. So that is how I organize my fabric. Let me know about how you organize your fabric. And I always love to hear your thoughts, because you might tell me a way that you do it that gives me an opportunity to tweak the way I do it to make it even better. And you know, when everybody reads everybody's methods, everybody will find something that works for them. So let's have a big discussion about that in the comments, as usual. You know I love to chat. And I'll get back to you on the buttons, because this is a mess. That's it for now for me, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.